All right. What is going on, guys? All right. So this is one of our first Zoom calls of this size. So bear with us with all technical things. We're going to do our best to be interactive here. Really excited to have everyone on tonight. Let's see if we got everything populated here. Let's check this chat box real quick, make sure everything's working. If you could hear me all right, just give me a 1 in the chat box just so we know. All right, cool. Got lots of ones. What's going on? Anyone I know here? Where are you guys calling in from? Got London, Utah, Vegas, Kansas City, Texas, Florida, New Zealand. We're actually in Florida as well. And New York, Turkey, California. Got people all over the world. This is cool.
Singapore.
People all over. Canada, 17 years old, ready to kill it. Love it. Long Island, New York. That's where Brad and I are from. We grew up over there. Hawaii, LA, we got Utah. We got people calling in from all over the place. India, Kentucky. Can you guys see the screen? Adrian just shared his screen. Are you guys able to see this? All right, cool. I'm going to actually unshare your screen for a sec, Adrian, and then we'll share it again in 1 second. Just want to kind of kick things off here. Guys, welcome. This is actually our first live call for Zendrop, and we couldn't be more excited. I'm Jared Getz. I'm the CEO of Zendrop, and this is Brad, the Chief Operating Officer. And recently we decided that we want to start doing calls with you guys each week. We want to get on, we want to bring you guys value, and we want to start building a culture of people who can build freedom in their lives through e-commerce, be here to support you, bring you the newest, best information, and most of all, bring amazing guests on the call, such as Adrian Morrison. First of all, if you guys know who Adrian is, give me a yes in the chat box. Okay, we got a lot of people who know who you are, Adrian, so don't be too flattered, but a lot of people know who you are. So Adrian, you want to say hi and introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up, everyone? I'm stoked to be here. It's an honor to be on the first Zendrop call, and I see a lot of you do recognize me. Maybe a lot of you have taken some of my trainings or just seen ads all over the internet. I'm excited to be here and show y'all this 7-figure e-com funnel that you can use with Zendrop. So I don't know what else you want me to say, Jared, if you want me to go into detail, but
no,
I know we got some.
We'll kick it off to you in a sec. Just wanted to introduce yourselves. Guys, if you have questions during the presentation, go ahead and put them in the question box here. We're going to take note of as many as we could. If we're not able to answer your questions, don't worry. We will do our best to answer them on the next call. We do have a lot of people on here, so we're not going to be able to get to every question, but go ahead and write your questions in the chat box when you have them. We'll take note. And then at the end of the presentation, we will be doing a Q&A. Other than that, pay attention because Adrian's got some amazing stuff to share with you, and you guys are going to learn a lot during this presentation. So I'll go ahead and kick it off. Adrian, you can share your screen and get started.
All right, awesome, cool. Well, welcome to the webinar, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as Tyler suggested. I want to make sure that you all can see it. So just give me just say yes in the chat box if you can see the screen. And let me just make sure I've got the Q&A box up over here. So, you know, I usually use GoToWebinar and we're on Zoom right now. So I'm looking for the chat. Guys, can you see the chat box? And there we go. I think I got it now. Yeah, there we go. All right, so everybody can see the screen. Awesome. So again, my name is Adrian Morrison, and I was asked to come on here and show y'all this funnel. It's called the 7-figure Facebook funnel, and it's how I use dropship products and ascend my customers to very high ticket repeat customers. And I believe that right here, right now in 2020, more than ever, this strategy is extremely important. And when you pair Zendrop with what I'm about to show you, it could be life-changing for your business. Also, at the end of this webinar, guess what? There's nothing for sale. I know a lot of you come to webinars, and especially if you see my face, you probably think that I'm going to offer you one of my programs or whatever. But because I'm such great friends with the team over at Zendrop, I'm going to give you a completely free course at the end of this training. You just have to stay on to the end. There's no hook, there's no catch, there's no bait. You literally are going to get a free members area and a free course that I put together that not even my own students have had access to yet. So go ahead, type in some money signs if you're excited to get access to the free course at the end of this webinar. Just flood money signs in here. Awesome, sweet. And side note, so there are a boatload of people in here, and I can't answer everybody's questions while I'm trying to go through the presentation. So don't get upset if I don't answer you. We'll definitely get back to you and do a Q&A segment here at the end. So again, my name is Adrian Morrison, and I'm here to tell you that I'm not a genius, but I've made a lot of money with internet marketing and e-commerce. I'm super ADD. So just some things to understand out of the gate. A lot of people getting started with e-commerce, even with great platforms like Zendrop, they fail to get started because they get paralyzed when it comes to finding products and taking action, and just simply believing that you can achieve success. And I just like to show everybody this slide to show you I was the least likely to succeed growing up. And if I've had all of this success, I truly believe that other people can realize success as well, because e-commerce is just so amazing. So I've done well over $6 million in e-commerce. This is actually an older screenshot right here. It should load, if the internet goes fast enough, it should load up my stats. I've made a lot of money doing e-com. I have made a lot of money doing internet marketing in general. And I use the same principles across the board. I'm always, always, always looking at average order value and how to make my customers spend more money, right? And so this has led to me receiving a lot of awards. It's led to me being certified by Shopify. You could see right here, that's me and Harley Finkelstein. He's the chief operating officer of Shopify. Everybody kind of wants to know what I'm doing. Ty Lopez, Bob Proctor. I saw a lot of you are Bob Proctor students on here. And Shopify actually hand selected me to be a mentor for their platform. So I'm featured like all over shopify.com. And a lot of people ask me, do these strategies still work? Because I've been around for a long time. And this is an image of my store. This is a screen cap of my store that I started in 2015. So listen, I'm not here churning and burning a zillion different Shopify stores. I still run the same Shopify store today that I started in 2015. And if you just simply look at this graph here, you'll see that in 2020, we're doing better than ever when it comes to getting our customers to spend more money on our store. The strategies have just gone up and up and up and up for us, right? So I'm not here to show you old strategies, right? And there are two very important profit ingredients when it comes to starting a store, just a store in general. It says 7-figure store here because my brain is always thinking 7 figures. If I'm starting any business, I'm thinking 7 figures. But as a complete beginner, you should just say there's 2 important profit ingredients to getting your first sale, to getting your first $100, to getting your first $1,000, whatever your goal is. All right, so ingredient number 1 is the profit accelerator. And ingredient number 2 is what I call the 5 phases of Facebook targeting. And we're going to get to these in a minute. But before I get to these, I want to talk about the big mistake that most people make. And that is most newbies skip step number 1. Right? What I want to do is I want to make sure that since you're using the Zendrop platform and y'all have access to epic products and an epic service from really amazing entrepreneurs in themselves, you're already 10 steps ahead of the average e-commerce entrepreneur. But people still skip step number 1. And some of the common mistakes that people make is they have no clue how to scale their ads. They start out selling really expensive products with a baby pixel, and they try to put 1,000 shiny products on their store just for looks. Now, with Zendrop, it's so easy to add a bunch of products to your store. It's, you could get carried away. So you want to sell the products that you add to your store, right? And that means you have to apply more focus to each product that's on your store instead of just putting 1,000 products on your store. And we'll talk a little bit more about how that's done. And then monetizing your buyers. A lot of people, they just don't monetize their buyers, right? How many of you so far feel like you might be making some of these mistakes? Just type in a 10 if you feel like these are some of the mistakes that you're making. You're selling really expensive items, therefore you achieve no sales, and you have too many products on your store, right? You're not monetizing. All right, cool. I see a lot of people. All right. So let's talk about low ticket paralysis and high ticket scaling, right? When I started my Shopify store back in the day, my average order value, that's the average amount of money that a customer would spend, was $31. And that's because I famously used the free plus shipping method and still do to this day. And that's great. And I'm going to show you a strategy on using that tonight here on this webinar. But you don't want to get stuck. A full year, I was stuck getting customers to buy cheap products, right? And that was step number one, is just start selling some cheap stuff and then scale. And after I figured out step one, which is just simply getting a lot of sales, right? I was like, okay, now how do I scale up? How do I get out of this low ticket zone here? And when I applied the method that I'm going to show y'all tonight, that's where that little red circle is right there. And that's where my business exploded exponentially, increasing the amount of profits that we were able to generate, right? So we're able to earn 200 to 300% more from customers. And we use this 6-step niche profit funnel that's applicable on any type of e-commerce store. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how this works, okay? So step number one, yes, in 2020, we still do free plus shipping, but we're not making boatloads of profit from the very first order, right? What we're doing is we're activating a customer. I want you to type in the chat box right now these exact words, because if you type it and you write it down, it will be embedded in your brain for quite some time. Say, I need to activate customers. I need to activate customers. Put it in the chat box right now. I want to see everybody typing that in. I can see Alex, Tammy, I can see so many people from all over the world saying, I need to activate customers. And that's what free plus shipping does, is it gets them in the door and you're breaking even or making a little bit of profit in many cases, right? That's step number one. Now, step number two is immediately, once I activate that customer, I start selling them low ticket retail items, stuff between $12 to $15, which is easy. With Zendrop, you get amazing prices from really great vendors, and I mark them up 2 to 3x, and I'm selling at $12 to $15. Step three is then we start selling what I call low to mid ticket, $20 to $35 products. Then we start selling mid ticket, we start selling mid to high ticket, and then high ticket. Now, earlier I said the number one thing that the number one mistake people make is they start selling high ticket items on a baby pixel. You got to start at step one. You don't have to do free plus shipping, but you could do something like $5 flash sale. You could do just anything under $10, $10 to $11 will help you activate an abundance of customers. Okay, and this profit accelerator method that we use is literally going to walk you through the steps that I just showed you on the previous screen, okay? So what it's gonna do is it's gonna help you automate a funnel. It's gonna get your customers, after activated, to buy high ticket items. It's a major key to scaling my business. We're using vendors from both US and China, which Zendrop has, and it gives us a competitive edge, honestly, over everyone else. And you saw before, this created, for me, a 1-year-long process to figure all of this stuff out. Is everybody with me so far on this? Just say yes if you're with me so far on this. Okay. Perfect. So what I want to do real fast is I'm going to pull up a slide, and I just got to get out of this real quick. I'm going to pull up an additional slide here, and I'm wondering where that went. So, all right. Well, let me just show you real fast in here in Zendrop. Okay. So if I come over in here to Zendrop, what I could do is go to find products, and the first step, step number one, was a dog collar. Okay, so dog collar, that's what I did. So I actually started selling, let's just be more specific, LED dog collar. All right, so I started selling an LED dog collar. Again, can everybody see my screen? I just want to make sure, because Zoom was acting kind of funky a second ago.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. Let me just type in LED dog collar. All right, we'll go back to dog collar. I think my internet's freezing up a little bit. It's been storming here. It's definitely freezing up. But anyways, I came in here and I found products like this right here. All right, so I found products like this LED rechargeable dog collar, right? And there's various different versions of this. You can find way cheaper versions of this. And by doing so, we started at step number one with a product that has that wow factor, with a product that is cheap, with a product that people are going to buy multiple variants of, because they're going to have 2 dogs, 3 dogs, you know, in many cases, they'll buy more than one. So this was a great product that we started selling right here. So this was step number one. All right, so we started with that product with the free plus shipping method, right? And when I first started, by the way, Zendrop did not exist. So I didn't have the benefit that y'all have of instantly getting better prices, instantly getting better vendors that are trusted. I had to go search on AliExpress the old-fashioned way. And so I started selling products like that dog collar with free plus shipping. Now, how many of you in here would never pay $10 to $11 for shipping and handling for a LED dog collar product like this? Just say no if you would never pay $10 to $11 for shipping and handling for a free product like this little LED dog collar. Okay, I see a lot of people in here saying no. Lots of people saying no. Well, here's the thing, and I just want to be frank with you. Nobody really cares what you would do. Like, what you would do is irrelevant. It's irrelevant to your business, and it's irrelevant to consumers, right? Because what you're looking at here is $1.5 million in free plus shipping sales done on one of my e-commerce stores, right? With this exact same product that you see on the screen. So I've sold an immense amount of products with free plus shipping. And I just want to point out to you how irrelevant it is that you go in and, you know, say, I would do this or I would do that. You got to remember, as a marketer, you have to think like a marketer, and you have to understand that just because you would not do something, or you would not buy something, or you don't think something else is a good idea, doesn't mean that a zillion other people in the world, right, won't come in and do it. That's one of the hardest things I struggle with starting out, is remembering nobody cares what I think. So we use that free plus shipping formula. We would sell these products at $9.95 to $11.97, really just kind of depending on, you know, where people were in the world. So if they were in the US, we would give them a little bit cheaper shipping. If they were international, then we would obviously give them some shipping and handling, additional charges for shipping and handling. All right, so this is a sale in our Shopify store that we generated with that product. Is blurred out because I don't always show what I sell to everybody, but I'm showing you guys. This is why I like products like this, is people will buy variants. So this particular customer came in and bought 3 at free plus shipping. It was a $30 sale, and I get these for pennies on the dollar. Also, ads like this are more likely to go viral. So these types of ads are just getting hundreds of thousands of shares and likes, and they're getting tens of thousands of comments of people that are tagging their friends and tagging family members, telling them to check out the product. I mean, it's just a really great product when you can find something that's interesting, has the wow factor, and use that free plus shipping strategy. So with this in particular product, which can be found right on Zendrop, I sold 65,000 of these at about $10.97. So that was $714,000 in sales with one single product, which is pretty awesome, right? So that was step number one, is activate customers. I activated 65,000 different customers. 65,000 customers were activated just simply because I sold a very low ticket step one item, right? And so it's imperative that you activate customers at low ticket, but you don't want to get stuck there, right? You don't want to get stuck in that zone where you're only getting $20 and $30 orders. You want to be able to sell higher ticket products, which Zendrop has amazing products that you can sell for a higher ticket. One thing that I do is going into step number two is once I have these 65,000 customers now. How many of you in here could take a wild guess what those 65,000 customers are interested in? I have 65,000 customers in my CRM, on my email list, in a Facebook retargeting audience. What are those people interested in? Tell me in the chat box right now. All right, see a lot of people saying they're into dogs, they're into pet products, they're into frozen food. I don't know why they would be in the frozen food if they're buying a dog collar, but yeah, they're into dogs. So I already know what they want. I have 65,000 people that I've activated as buyers within my brand. And now I can start selling them more stuff. So I'm just going to show you some examples of print on demand. There's plenty of examples in Zendrop as well that you can tier up to different, different price points. But step number two is after finding a hot product in Zendrop, what I did is I started selling pillows with pictures of dogs on them. And I would sell these for $12.95. So about $12.95. It's a little bit more expensive than the free plus shipping product, but it's at a retail price. People bought a ton of these, literally pillows with pictures of dogs on them. And since that worked, I was like, you know what? People are buying an immense amount of pillows with pictures of dogs on them. I've got these 65,000 dog buyers. How do I turn them into more money? How do I turn them into repeat customers, right? And build upon this audience. So then I started selling t-shirts to them. So t-shirts of pictures of dogs and dog quotes, right? That was at $25.95. Step number four is I started selling handbags. So you can go in Zendrop and you can find all sorts of handbags that are already done in the dog niche, I'm sure. I don't know exactly what all shows up in Zendrop, but you can find apparel style products through their platform. So you don't have to go through print on demand and do custom designs at all times, right? But why not do both? All right, so step number four is we took the same images, sold them on a product at $44.95. We got a boatload of sales. Step number five is then we started selling custom shoes with images of the dog's product, of the dog images at $75, and we sold a boatload of these shoes. And then step number six, we started selling high ticket items like this bedding right here, which is $120. But you see, what we did is we used that customer ascension model, right? We started with a low ticket, free plus shipping style product, like that collar I showed you in Zendrop. And then we took those 65,000 customers that we activated and we sold them pillows, we sold them shirts, we sold them purses, handbags, totes, we sold them shoes, and we're still selling them new things today. Like right now, one of the things we're doing is we're about to start selling things on face masks, right? That are within the dog niche. That's one of the biggest niches that I've crushed. So the question is Adrian, does this actually work? Can you really get one of those 65,000 people that bought the dog collar or bought whatever the product is you're selling to come back again and buy the pillow, the t-shirt, the handbag, the dog gadget, the dog anti-dog barker product, all of these different products? Will they come back and spend more money with you? The most expensive part of marketing is customer acquisition. Once you get a customer, you need to laser focus on that customer, and you need to sell them as much as you possibly can, because it's all profit thereafter. Once they're on your email list, once they're on your retargeting list, you can get some serious, high return on ad spend or high profit margins remarketing to them. So I'm going to show you, this is like, I've kind of made this order within my community a little famous, because I've been showing the screenshot for a while, but it's just flabbergasting. So when I applied the profit accelerator funnel that I just showed you, starting with a Zendrop style product, Esther, a customer of ours from Texas, she came in and she bought one of those products. So she bought a little free plus shipping product. But then over the course of 1 year, looking back, Esther came in and she spent $545 across 20 different orders. So I activated Esther as a customer at step number 1 with a very low ticket product. And then I started sending Esther through that profit accelerator funnel. I started her at free plus shipping, then like a $13 offer, then a $25 offer, then all the way up to the $75+ offers. Well, over the course of a year, Esther spent $545 on our store. I only had to pay for her through Facebook ads to visit our store once. Once she was a customer and activated on our email list, we started deploying email marketing, autoresponders to her that got her to buy these other products. You see, one of the keys to success is getting repeat customers, because repeat customers is essentially free traffic. And not only is it free traffic, it's highly qualified traffic because they've already converted and spent money with you before, right? Does that make sense? Just say yes if that makes sense to you. All right, so I see a lot of people say that makes sense. Here's a screenshot. This is actually an older screenshot, so it's not as up to date, but whatever. You can see that I've walked people through buying the little free plus shipping product to buying leggings, high top shoes, shoulder bags, blankets, jewelry, everything, just all sorts of different products, right? And most of these people here are the exact same customers that bought that very first product. I just get them to come back and buy more and more and more. So you want to pay very, very close attention to this customer ascension funnel that we have right here, because if you follow this, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, so on and so forth, this right here can create for you more profit than always chasing the next customer. But before you start a funnel like this, you're probably asking yourself, Adrian, how do I even get customers into my store to start making purchases? How do I get people to come in and start flooding my store with sales and stacking their shopping cart? This is all dog products right here, by the way, in the dog niche. And how do I get them to start buying all this stuff? Well, number 1 is obviously with Facebook ads, we run conversion campaigns. We always optimize for purchases. And with the 5 phases of targeting here, what we do is we set up quick and simple little Facebook ads. It takes about 9 minutes to set up an ad. If you've done Facebook ads, you know it's very quick. I still, to this day, I start everything on a $5 to $10 per day budget. And it's not because you're going to make a bunch of money off of $5. Rather, I want to test the market for 2 to 3 days. I want to see what kind of engagement my ads get. Am I getting likes? What type of, are they hitting the like button or the mad button? Are we getting comments? Are we getting tags? Are we getting shares? This gives me a good idea of, is it worth increasing my budget? If you go in and you drop $100 a day budget on a random product that's not proven, you're very likely to lose that money. So we test it with about 15 to 20 bucks. And then once we see the market and the targeting is responding to the ad, we scale it. And that's where the sales actually start to come in. And we start letting Facebook optimize our sales for us using the 5 phases of targeting. So I'm going to walk you through what these 5 phases of targeting are right now. But first, I just want to show you some of my results, because a lot of people show their revenue, but they don't show their profits. So just so you can see, using the strategy that I'm going to show you, these campaigns reached up to 3.8 million people. And we had 67,000 clicks. We had 11,000 add to carts. We had 8,000 purchases that came in. And you can see our average return on ad spend is 2.8, which is really good. To be profitable on many campaigns, we need to be like 1.5, 1.2, 1.5, right? So we spent 57K to make 170. Now the product cost is not in there, right? That's why we need to be at like 1.2, 1.5 for profitability. So you can see the money spent, you could see the money made. You got to have a good product, a good offer, which is step one, that free plus shipping or $5 flash sale, really, really good offer, and a product that has that wow factor and, you know, value perception must be there as well. All right, so these are just some of my campaigns I figured I would show you. So let's talk about how we use these 5 phases, right, to just get a boatload of sales. Again, these are sales from that one dog collar product here and beyond, right? So we start small, then we scale fast. But again, it is all done using these 5 phases of targeting, okay? So if you want to take a screenshot of this, write it down real quick. I'm gonna go through each one by one. Let me check on where we are on time. Okay, I got plenty of time. So phase 1 is we're very precise. Phase 2 is we go broad as we begin to scale. Phase 3 is we use Facebook's lookalike audiences. Phase 4, and this one does not always work, is zero targeting, meaning I just target 18+-year-olds, and that's it. And it works, you know, on some very big, broad style products. So it's just like, you know, never dies out. It's the coolest thing when it hits. Phase 5 is engagement audiences, all right? So the main goal between these 5 phases of targeting is really to build your pixel. Eventually, you wanna be able to run ads without having to do deep targeting with a zillion ninja keywords and all that stuff. Eventually, your Facebook pixel will kind of learn who your buyers are, and it'll minimize the amount of ninja strategies you have to use when creating your ads, right? So we know that the Facebook pixel is designed to find us buyers. We know that the longer we run our ads, the smarter our ads become. And we also know that the Facebook pixel really needs 100 sales on it before it starts to dial in. Or, you know, 25 a week is really what Facebook wants, right? So let's talk about how we make that happen. Step number 1 is precise targeting. All right, so precise targeting is used with any niche, any type of product, and there's a reason that we start here. We have smaller audiences for a very important reason. They're more passionate. A lot of people go into Facebook and they try to find the bigger audiences. I go in when I'm breaking into a new niche and I try to find the smaller audiences to get proof of concept, to get some momentum, to activate buyers, to build my custom audiences, to get my Facebook pixel to fire more sales out of the gate, even though I know precise targeting is going to be short-lived and it's going to those ads will dry up sooner than later. Does that make sense? Just say yes. I'm so used to being on stage, I raise my hand still, even though there's nobody here in my office. But just say yes if you're with me on this. Okay, I see lots and lots and lots of yeses coming through. Okay, sweet. So here's an example. Again, I'm in the dog niche. On a lot of my campaigns, we have had a lot of success with dog stuff, veteran stuff, tactical stuff, just all sorts of stuff. But let's just say that we are targeting Yorkie owners, okay? People that own Yorkie dogs. What we would do is we would go find these types of interest right here. I love my Yorkie. I love Yorkies, owned by Yorkies, rather than just Yorkshire Terrier. So these keywords of 240,000, 213,000, 100,000, and these are the types of keywords that we look for because these have your most passionate audience in it. Now, you're not always going to find ones with hundreds of thousands of people in them, but the key is keeping it under 1 million. Under 1 million people on a keyword would make it, in my opinion, a more precise keyword, right? And so these are going to be your more passionate people here, right? And your broad targeting is the next step, the next phase. And this is going to be trying to build audiences of 3 million to 50 million. But you only start using broad targeting after you see the precise targeting ads that you're running get sales and see success. Now things are getting dialed in. Now, why is that? Why would you want to wait for the precise targeted ads that are hitting 1 million or so people to dial in and get sales before you open the floodgates to broad targeting where you're hitting 3 million to 50 million people? Well, the reason is because by the time you get here, your Facebook pixel is dialing in on who your buyer is. Is it men? Is it women? What age group is it in? What parts of the world are they in, right? All of these different demographics and things that the Facebook pixel is looking at for similarities, that's going to dial in. So when you launch a broad targeted campaign that's hitting 5 million people, 10 million people, whatever it is, Facebook will more easily be able to sift through all the junk in these very, very large, non-precise audiences and be more likely to find your buyers. But you've got to get here at some point, because if you don't, then you're not going to achieve scalability, right? Now, broad targeting is going to have lower conversion rates because you're hitting a bigger audience, so you're going to get some lower end traffic. And this is an example of the difference. So you saw those keywords we were hitting earlier had 200,000, 100,000 people. If you just go type in Yorkshire Terrier, you got 3.4 million people here, right? That would be a broad audience. And Yorkshire Terrier, all 3.4 million of those people aren't even really interested in the dog breed. They could be liker by association. And a liker by association would mean maybe Samantha shared a picture of her new Yorkie puppy, right? Or started a fan page or an Instagram account for her Yorkie, and all of her friends started interacting with the post or interacting with the page because they're friends with Samantha. Now, essentially, they're likers by association with this specific term. Does that make sense? Just say "makes sense" in the chat box. Just say "makes sense" in the chat box so I can make sure you're following me here. Okay, cool. That's why you're going to have a lot more junk in this keyword opposed to the very, very precise keywords. Now, let's look at a split test. And this is a screenshot from a platform called Quaya or Quaya. I don't know how to pronounce it. I use it to create Facebook ads. And that's why this dashboard looks a little bit different. And nowadays, you really don't even need it because Facebook has added all the features I used to use this for. But I'm just used to using it, so that's what I launch with. Anyways, here's a split test. So you've got the broad keyword campaign on the top, and you got the precise keyword campaign on the bottom. One of the precise one's hitting 670,000 people, and the broad keyword is reaching 1.1 million people. You can see on the bottom, we spent $1,120 to make $2,500. With the broad keyword, we spent $960 to make $1,600. But we'll have double the scalability out of this campaign. Our profit margin is just going to be lower, right? Our cost per sale was $10 on the broad keywords, and our cost per sale on the precise keywords was $6.97. So clearly right here, this is proof that the precise keyword is the winner. But you will see sometimes that these broad keywords are hitting like 7 million people here will optimize down because the pixel will get smarter, the pixel will become more intelligent, and it'll be more likely to find buyers through that audience. So you can see here that as we started testing more and more and more, the broad keywords ultimately were getting us more scale, right? And they became similarly as profitable as our starting out point with precise keywords. So that takes a while though. You'll see that cost per sale or cost per purchase price point start to come down as it really starts to dial in. At least that's the hope. It's not guaranteed. So once we get both of those dialed in, precise and lookalikes, precise and broad, what we do for more scalability is we start hitting our lookalike audiences. So this is letting Facebook take the wheel. This is letting Facebook find people to target, very similar to our most active and most profitable audiences. And this is the exact setup that we use right here, the screenshot. So you might want to take a screenshot of this, because when we're creating lookalike audiences, this is exactly how we split them up. 0 to 1%, 1 to 2%, 2 to 5, 5 to 7, and 7 to 10. So you'll notice that the top 1% of people in a niche will give us 1.9 million similar audience of people. And then the 1 to 2%, that's really our 2%, top 2% of our audience. It's another 1.9 million people. But so we can cast a wider net, we'll then do 2 to 5%, which will give us a really big audience. The reason we start doing these bigger audiences like 2 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10 is because the bigger your audience is on a Facebook ad, the lower your CPM is going to be typically, right? So you can get cheaper traffic by targeting bigger audiences, but your conversion rate's probably going to be a little bit lower. So it starts to kind of even out, but that's the reason that we do that. And so here's another split test with these types of audiences. You can see they match up and everything here. You'll see that 1 to 2% was doing pretty good. The 2 to 5% pretty good. And then as we get to 5% and beyond, you'll see our cost per sale will start to increase. But we're getting buyers, we're getting scalability, and we're making more money. So ultimately, that's the goal. Once lookalikes get dialed in, and this might take you 2 weeks, it might take you 3 weeks, it could take you a month to dial these in. Proof that these lookalike audiences are converting for whatever niche it is you're advertising in. And only once you get lookalike audiences popping, you test zero targeting. When I started doing this back in 2014, when the Pixel was just like brand new, because I started doing Facebook ads in 2008, people thought I was crazy. I was like the #1 seller on the Represent print on demand platform before I started Shopify. And I was in this mastermind and I was like, yo, everybody, y'all got to start hitting zero target audiences once you dial things in. And they're like, zero targeting, that sounds dumb as anything. How on God's green earth are you going to make money targeting 50 million people without narrowing it down? And I just said, the Pixel will find the buyers for you if you have trained it enough. So this is when you literally let Facebook take the wheel and see if they will force feed buyers to your ads. This here is an older screenshot, but it gets the point across. So here's a zero target campaign. This is selling yoga pants, just so y'all know. We spent 35 grand on this at that particular point and made $83,000 in sales, targeting 110 million people. But we only did that after we had a boatload of sales with precise, broad, and lookalike audiences, and it hit. And campaigns like this will last for a very, very long time, and you don't have to always churn and burn. But there's a good chance this won't hit. So don't just go all in on this and put like a $5,000 budget on it. When I start zero target campaigns, I'll usually start these with like $100, $150 per day budget, just simply because I expect them to work. I've already made a lot of money, so I'm rolling the dice here. And if it works, phenomenal. If it doesn't work, kill it after it's spent some money. Like I would let it spend like $500 and then kill it. But remember, you're only spending $500 or so here because you've already made a bunch of money with precise targeting, broad targeting, and lookalikes. So you have money to lose, right? You have money to test with. All right, so after this, what we start doing is really scaling with engagement remarketing. So creating Facebook audiences based off of post engagement, fan page engagement, Instagram engagement, and marketing to people that did not buy, but were likers, commenters, sharers, so on and so forth. So this was really key for us when we discovered how well this hit and how good it worked. Because our ads go so viral, they were getting a lot of comments and a lot of shares, a lot of video views. And so we were able to build up these massive audiences of people. But here's the thing, people that like your post, they are out of the bunch, the lowest quality, right? People that share your post are the next like tier up in quality, and people that comment are the most premium quality, because people that comment, they took more time. They didn't just click a button. They actually typed something or tagged somebody. So this audience of 14,000 commenters, we could turn into a buyer group very nicely, right? And of course, you got video views as well. So we would start going in and go into our fan pages and start creating these audiences of people who have visited, hit our call to action, DM'd us, whatever it may be. And these types of audiences were absolutely destroying it. I mean, they were just crushing it for us. And there's a lot of cool things that you can do with Facebook custom audiences. You can build audiences of people that bought just tote bags, of just pillows, or just the dog collar, so on and so forth, and start remarketing to those people. You can make audiences in Facebook of people that have spent $30 with you, or $60 and above, or $100 and above. Start using all of the tools inside of Facebook. So I have like 180,000 orders on one of my stores. So I can go in and say, hey, Facebook, I want you to make me an audience of everybody that has spent more than $100 through my ads. They've clicked on one of my ads, they've been on my store, and they've spent more than $100, right? And it's been recorded. And so we're able to create those types of audiences and absolutely crush it by hitting people that are high value audiences that have spent good money on our store. How many of you here think that's a pretty good idea? Just go ahead and type in money signs. If you would agree, that's a pretty good idea. And that's something you should probably start doing, right? And when you start using all of these different types of audiences, you'll see some of them can hit, some of them can hit hard. We've got 4.29x ROAS there, 2x, 1.6. We really need to be in the 1.5 range to be killing it. So these types of audiences work, but they're just ignored. Like, so many people don't use these types of audiences. So here is essentially what we do to create repeat customers, okay? And get people in our funnel, get people buying more stuff using all these audiences. Obviously, we remarket to recent buyers through ads and email and get them to buy through that funnel that I showed you earlier. And this makes the most sense because you've already built trust with these customers, right? And the key to a long-term business is having a high repeat customer rate. If you ever go to sell your business, one of the things that people are going to ask you is, what's your repeat customer rate? Are you always spending money for new customers, or do you have a loyal fan base, right, that's coming and making purchases? If you can show a history of getting people like Esther to come back and place 20 orders, then your business will likely sell for a higher valuation should you ever want to cash out one day. So you want to build insane loyalty and branding. And you can do that with drop shipping, right? Especially using a platform like Zendrop, where the customer service and the shipping times are going to be better than your average drop shipping from AliExpress or Alibaba. You know, you're going to have a huge advantage using their platform. That's why I recommend it to my community and my audience, and why I'm here on this webinar. So, all right, so here's the strategy. Number one is we find our free plus shipping product or a low ticket product, something under 11 bucks. You don't have to do free plus shipping. You can do $5 flash sale. The item's $5 plus $4.95 shipping. They're still spending the same amount of money. It's just positioned a different way. Set a $5 test budget, $5 to 10 bucks. Let it run for 2 to 3 days. If you see good engagement, initiate the 5 phases of targeting, precise targeting. Hit it with that Facebook ad, right? See if you get sales. phases 1 through 2. Then move to phases 3 through 4, and always be remarketing. And when I say remarketing, I'm not talking about retargeting. Remarketing is running ads to people whom have previously purchased from you. Retargeting is retargeting with ads to customers who visited your website but did not purchase. When you remarket to previous customers, the profits are just freaking stupid, and you're spending very little money to generate very high ticket orders because they're customers that know you, like you, and trust you. And continue this process over and over and over again. Some of the profit points: passion niches. Do the best, like things that people have emotion in. So dogs, patriotism, wine is a huge niche. In Zendrop, there's some pretty sick products for that too. People love their alcohol, but 21 and plus if you're targeting stuff like that. So find products that you can sell in abundance of that have a wow factor. Start with low ticket products. Ascend your customers while they're hot. So as soon as they buy one product from you, immediately start marketing higher ticket products to them. And remember, this isn't get rich quick. This isn't an overnight process. I've been doing this for over 5 years, and I was stuck for a full year getting low ticket orders, right? So I've hopefully helped you, bypass the mistakes that I've made in getting stuck there, and take this step by step by step, right? You might be in phase 1 targeting for a month. You might be in phase 2 targeting for 2 months. You'll know when the time is right because you'll see your ads getting consistent sales, right? This is long-term and it's worth it. This could be life-changing if you do this the right way. So at this point, I'm going to take some questions and some Q&A. We're going to give away the free course that everybody gets just simply by being here. So I see that Jared and Brad are popping back on. What up, guys?
First of all, Adrian, thank you so much for this presentation. Guys, this information is not only awesome for people that are trying to get started, but even people like myself. I've been in the e-commerce space for many years, and a lot of this information, there's so many golden nuggets in this, and just kind of creating the high-level mindset of starting with a low ticket, going higher, keeping lifetime customers. It's just the stuff you don't think about. So many people just want to dive in, get rich quickly, spend money on Facebook, cash out, but this is the stuff that you need to think about. So everyone, just if you appreciate Adrian and doing this presentation, just put a thank you in the chat box, because I really appreciate him, and I just want to show some gratitude here for spending an hour and just teaching for the sake of teaching. No other motive here aside from being a good person and trying to give back. So thank you, Adrian, for all the passion that you put in this presentation.
Yeah, appreciate it. And we'll take some questions now. But yeah, one of the biggest takeaways there is, like you said, Jared and Adrian, the most difficult part of e-commerce is acquiring a customer, the most expensive part. And most people sleep on remarketing their customers via email and messenger and all these different tools, which is, to be honest, where most of your profit is going to come from when you're running an e-commerce store. If you can run traffic and break even on the front end, you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you guys, we have a bunch of questions in the questions box. How do you get to the questions? Okay, there's a little Q&A button on the bottom of your screen. So if you have questions, go ahead and type it in. I don't know if it's a bug, but it says a lot of people's names here is Brad Loeffler. Are you seeing that too, Adrian?
It literally says everybody's name is Brad's. I'm not sure why.
So we may have a little bit of trouble identifying you by your name. It might show up as Brad Loeffler. This is Brad Loeffler.
Looks like a bug on Zoom.
You may not be. But yeah, go ahead, guys, and let's kind of kick things off. We got a few questions that we took note of during the presentation. And Adrian, I'm going to direct these towards you, and if I have anything to elaborate, I will jump in. So, okay. Kamai asked, what action steps can I take to lower my CPMs?
Well, if you want to lower your CPM, there's so many different factors that go into CPM, like your quality score, for example. If your ads are getting a lot of engagement, then Facebook is going to look at those ads as a higher quality ad and serve it to their, to their users at a more rapid rate at a lower cost. Targeting bigger audiences, the bigger the audience, typically the lower the CPM is going to be. So if you see like a really high CPM and you're in the precise targeting range, what I would do is try to just expand your targeting by finding more interest to get that demographic to reach, maybe instead of 800,000 people, like 1.3 million, 1.4. So that's like the surefire way typically to drop your CPM. But other than that, yeah, I mean, if your ad's not getting a lot of engagement, your CPM is going to be higher. If it's getting a lot of people reporting it as spam because it's not a good quality image or video, or your copy sounds misleading, that's typically going to make your CPM super high. So try to look at that stuff and correct it if you see any room for improvement there.
Yep. And just to clarify, CPM, if any of you guys don't know what that is, that's your cost per 1,000 views. What does it cost for 1,000 people to see your ad? And just to elaborate on what Adrian said, Facebook wants people to get good quality content. They don't want spammy ads. They don't want bad content. So if people like your ads, they're going to serve it to them for a cheaper cost. Okay. I'm going into the questions box. And again, just bear with us. We're experimenting with this Zoom call. There's a lot of different options here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Answer Live. Ross Bird asked, should you run PPE campaigns alongside your purchase campaign? Let me click Answer Live and see what happens here. Okay, cool. So we can go ahead and answer that one, Adrian.
Sorry, you cut out. What was the question?
It's, should you run PPE campaigns alongside purchase campaigns?
I mean, I don't even run PPE campaigns. Honestly, I'm not qualified to answer that. Like, I just don't know why you would run PPE campaigns if you're trying to get purchase-driven sales. I know that some people like to run PPE to build up. And again, my opinion isn't the end all. There's tons of right ways to make money, but most people run PPE if they want to get engagement audiences built up fast and then build lookalikes from those, which is a decent strategy for sure. I don't know, Jared, you might be more qualified to answer that. I don't know if you run PPE.
So like Adrian said, guys, there's no like right or wrong. You can take from people that have done great in this space, like Adrian. You can learn things from me. It might not be exactly the same. There's lots of ways to do it. I've ran PPE campaigns in the past to juice up the engagement of an ad and create audiences off it. But to be honest, I don't think it adds much value to answer Ross's question.
Yeah, Ross, Facebook's very good at delivering what you ask for. So if you're on a PPE campaign, you're going to get lots of engagement, right? But if you're looking to make sales and convert on purchases, you're much better off running a conversions campaign for purchases.
Okay, cool. So Thomas asked, do you focus on Facebook ads exclusively, or do you incorporate Instagram ads, Pinterest, Google, etc.? Thanks.
We focus mostly on Facebook. Obviously, we run Instagram ads equally alongside Facebook ads. One thing though that we're really, I think I'm missing out on is Google Shopping ads. And I've run some campaigns on Google Shopping recently that have done super well. They have an easy integration in Shopify too, where you can just integrate to the sales channel and automate some Google Shopping campaigns. And it's just like free money if it hits. But yeah, we mainly focus on Facebook because like I said, I've been doing Facebook ads since 2008, before a pixel existed, before native ads existed within Facebook's news, before the news feed existed, honestly. So it's my bread and butter.
Yo, old man, Adrian, been around.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, we actually got a question about Zendrop here that I'll have Brad answer. It says, will Zendrop be able to ship to some of the states and countries soon, Hawaii and Alaska? So if you want to elaborate on our shipping.
Yeah, we are currently and always have been shipping to those locations. We ship to almost all the countries around the globe. There are some obvious ones, like North Korea and other places that we can't ship to. And we're actually releasing a bunch of new shipping options, hopefully next week. the beginning of the week, we'll be able to push those live, and you'll all be getting some communication about that. Some really, really cool new options coming up soon.
Awesome. Okay, I got a question here that I would love to answer. Somebody who somehow signed up as Brad Lawford, I don't know what your name is, but they said, can I do this and hold a full-time job? I think this is actually really important to think about. You know, it's not about how much time you put in necessarily, it's about how consistent you are. If you do have a full-time job and you're looking to transition over to running an internet business, an e-commerce business full-time, what's important is that you're consistent, is that you set aside 1 or 2 hours every day, and you don't, you know, get on webinars like this and then get excited and then work at it for 3 days and then lose the excitement, and then work at it once a week and then lose the excitement and fizzle out. You know, it's about having that discipline to continue to work at it until you crack the code. You know, a lot of people here, maybe who are beginners, haven't yet cracked that code. So they see people like Adrian or myself, you know, doing these big numbers, and they just simply don't believe it's possible for themselves. But if you do set aside the time, if you are disciplined, you will outperform what you believe to be true. You will break through something. You'll get your first big win, and it'll keep fueling you. So can you do this with a full-time job? Absolutely. There's also a ton of things you can outsource. A lot of your customer support and order fulfillment. You know, order fulfillment is done automatically on Zendrop now. You know, your customer support can be outsourced. Even throwing up your Facebook campaigns and testing can be outsourced at this point. So if you like building business infrastructure, you can do this in as little as 20 minutes a day, honestly, in running an online store. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so Mohammed has a question. How do you apply your strategy with one product branded stores? Do we just increase the price? I guess to elaborate on that question, if you have a branded store, I mean, Adrian, I'll let you answer this one, but he's asking specifically about one product branded stores. What are your thoughts on that?
For sure. Yeah, by the way, I don't know if y'all could see my screen, but the free course link is on there. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can see your screen. Yeah, by the way, yeah, before you answer that question, guys, definitely take advantage of this. Adrian was generous enough to give you a course for free that he usually sells just to our community. So aside from being extremely gracious and doing this presentation, he's also giving you this course for free. So definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, and for anyone that's on the podcast that's just listening, we're going to post this on our podcast after. It's amsecretlink.com.
That's AM as in Morrison, secretlink.com.
/free course.
Sorry. Okay.
We had the back half of the URL hidden with the chat.
Okay. Well, I'll say this one more time. AM as in Morrison, secretlink.com /free course. All right. If you guys are listening. All right, Adrian, you want to jump in and answer the question about one product branded stores?
Yeah. So with one product brand stores, my advice to you is get more products, one step at a time. One of my students that came in and started drop shipping ended up developing his own product. It's amazing. And it's something you spray on your car and it makes it shiny and protects it from weather and all this stuff. And I mean, he was just killing it. You know, he was doing like $800,000 a month, $1 million a month. And he came to me, he's like, how do I scale? Like we're killing it. We're doing, you know, $10 million a year, but how do I scale from here? Because we're a one-trick pony at this point. And I said, you just got to get more products. Like you got to find complementary products, whatever that may be. If you're selling, you know, windshield covers that insulate your car, if you need to create like larger versions of the product that you sell, in other words, like a bigger bottle, a smaller bottle, a bundle of it that you can upsell, a subscription service for it for refills. You know, if you're only selling one product, then you are stuck in that you will always be searching for new customers. So you have to figure out a way to get them to come back. And it depended on the product, you know, that's going to be a different story for each product. Obviously, I know subscription is one of the best ways, though, to monetize if you have one single product, which Jared's the pro at.
Yep. I think that's a great, because there is a lot of buzz about single product stores, and it's great to build a brand and it's simple. But like Adrian said, you do get stuck in that getting new customers over and over again. Okay, we got another question here that I think will be really useful. James Wu, he's asking, when we run ads on Facebook, are there any strategies or tips to maintain a positive Facebook page score?
Well, yeah, I would say the first step I would take would be very transparent in your copy. So if, like, say, for example, if you're doing free plus shipping, don't say the product is free. Tell people that it's free, just pay shipping, and then list the shipping price in there, right? So be very, very upfront, which will keep your spam score down. The second thing I would say is look at your frequency. So Facebook will show you the frequency of your ads showing to the same person multiple times. So if your frequency gets up to 5 or more, that means that this person has seen your ad a bunch of times. That ad probably needs to have the audience expanded on, because when people continue to see the same ad over and over and over, even if it's a good ad, they're eventually going to get sick of it and they're going to hit the hide button, which is going to affect the quality score of your page. So keep an eye on frequency and try to refresh the creative with a different picture, different angle, different video, so you don't tick off, your audience.
Yeah, so the Facebook page score is really what people think of your page. And that's great advice, Adrian. So another question coming in from another name, Brad Loeffler. I don't know who you are. How many sales should we have in phase 1 in the first few days with free plus shipping before moving on to phase 2?
Well, you're going to stay in phase 1 probably for a couple of weeks. And again, it's hard to say how many sales you should have. You really just need to, it depends on your audience, because if your precise targeting is only hitting, because of the niche you're in, 200,000 people, there's no way that you're going to achieve near as many sales as someone who can hit an audience of 800,000 people with precise keywords. But your goal, I would say, would be to be getting between 15 to 25 sales a day, ideally. And once you hit that rate, then okay, I can probably scale up to broad once you start getting that many sales. Because if it's $10, you're at that point only doing, a small amount of volume, but you're getting a larger amount of sales. So volume meaning revenue, and you're getting a large amount of sales because, well, you're getting more customers in because it's a cheap price point. So I'd say about 25 sales in a day. After that, start looking at broad targeting.
Awesome. A ton of people are asking if they're gonna be able to see this training again. We're gonna be posting it. We're gonna be distributing it to our email list. If you opted into this, you'll get a link with it as well. We're gonna be posting it on our podcast. So you will absolutely have access to this training again. All right.
And I would recommend that everyone also definitely, when you get the free course, you go in and watch this. This is the course you're going to get access to. That link is going to take you. I know if you're listening to the audio version of this, you can't see the page and everything, but that link's going to take you to an opt-in page. It's not going to ask you to buy anything. It's going to give you this free members area here. And essentially, we go over things like the 4 profit pillars of e-commerce, which is me talking about more in depth what we went over on this particular webinar, how we snipe out viral products. This could be used with Zendrop. And then our Facebook targeting for Facebook and Instagram, how we run our profit funnels, and then email marketing strategies, which I wasn't even able to to touch base on. So these videos also, they're not like little 5-minute stupid tutorials. They're like 20 to 30-minute videos of me in my television studio, recording this super high quality. So just make sure that you go watch this after you listen to this full training, and you'll get more in-depth teachings on the things that I covered.
Yeah, and again, for you guys listening, it's www.am, as in Morrison, secretlink.com/free course. And again, Adrian, thank you so much for giving this out. I think it's going to help tons of people. We're going to answer just a couple more questions here. And again, if you have questions that you want us to get to, just feel free to email back the email that you got the original information about the call from, and we'll do our best to keep getting back to you guys on future calls. So we got Cynthia, who's asking, with my first ad, I could not select purchase for my pixel. Instead, I was only able to select view content. Could you please give me advice? I can give advice on that one. You know, basically, you're not able to, it's not going to be green, your purchase objective on your pixel. But I like, and maybe Adrian does things differently, but I like to still keep purchase as the objective. A lot of people say start with view content and then go to add to cart and then go to purchase. I like just plowing through the purchase until I get my first one because it's pretty easy, and just sticking on that route. Adrian, I don't know if you have any other.
I agree with you on that. There's no reason not to use purchase, even if you haven't had a purchase yet.
Yeah, you definitely want to use purchase. It may actually not allow you to select purchase. That may be because a purchase is never ever fired on that Facebook pixel. So you won't actually be able to select it. So you're going to go ahead and just place a test order on your store, and that'll fire the pixel for a purchase, and then you'll be able to select it. The only reason view content's the only thing that's showing up is because view content's the only thing that's fired on the pixel. So once you add to the cart, you'll be able to see add to cart come in, and then once you make a test purchase, you'll see that fire on the pixel, and you'll be able to select it for the conversion campaign.
Yep, awesome, Brad. Couple more questions. We got a question here regarding Zendrop from Tara. First, she said, "How do we get products from AliExpress to Zendrop if it's not there?" Well, if you're searching for a product on Zendrop and it's not there, if you scroll down to the bottom, there is a button that actually allows you to paste in an AliExpress link, and all of the information from AliExpress will come in, and you can start selling that product right away. And then within a day or two, the product will be quoted, and you can start fulfilling it through Zendrop.
Yeah, so more specifically, just to give you guys an idea of how that works, we're not sourcing the product from AliExpress. All that's doing is the tool, the AliExpress import tool, is scraping the data from the AliExpress listing and adding that information into Zendrop, and then adding that information into your store so you can sell it with the correct variants and the correct product pulls in. Once a sale's made, our team will quote that and get it back to you in 24 hours, and then it'll be listed on the platform. So we're not actually sourcing with AliExpress vendors. We have our own fulfillment company that's going to do all the sourcing and shipping for you guys. That's just an easy way to get going immediately.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, somebody else asked if we're located in Florida. Yes, we are. And welcome, fellow Floridian here. Let's see what other questions we have here. There's a lot of questions in here. I'm just trying to find ones that will help the most people possible. Adrian, quick, I've seen a bunch of questions here about email autoresponders, and I know you have a section about this in your course, but I guess quickly, high level, which email autoresponder do you recommend?
For ecom, like no joke, I just use MailChimp. It's very simple. A lot of more advanced platforms like Klaviyo, they can paralyze newbies in the beginning because they are so intricate and technical. You just never get the most out of them. You can always import your list to something like Klaviyo after you've built it in Entreport, or simultaneously send your leads to MailChimp and Klaviyo. But I've literally, people freak when I tell them this. I just use MailChimp, and I am a big time, like, email is my main focus. And MailChimp also gets phenomenal delivery, meaning when you mail your list, just because you send an email doesn't mean that all of your leads are going to get it. Many of your emails are going to go into the spam box. And oftentimes that'll happen because the email marketing platform you're using has a lot of marketers and spammers using their IP addresses. This is getting super technical, and their delivery ends up sucking. MailChimp has phenomenal delivery. So I feel like when I send an email to my list of 200,000 people, it's going to inbox in the actual inbox and not the spam box at a higher rate.
Awesome. That's great advice. So MailChimp it is on from Adrian's opinion. I guess one or two more questions here. Broad question. I've seen it 5 or 6 times in the Q&A. What do you think a good starting budget is for someone getting into e-commerce?
For advertising, I would say, try to have like $10 a day for getting started. That's what you need, is $5 to $10 per day. So in other words, $300 a month or so. Be prepared to spend that on ads. And clearly, that's going to just allow you to do minimal testing, but you can rapidly test with drop shipping. So, $15-20 spent and one product's not hitting, you can test another product. You're not stuck trying to figure out how to force something to sell. You don't need a big budget to start drop shipping, but if you want to make serious money, then you're going to have to spend money, right? But only spend money once you're making money. Then scaling from there, budget's not an issue.
Yep. Awesome. If anyone has any last questions, let's see.
I saw one that a lot of people ask. Someone asked, are you worried that if the shipping is going to be longer than 5 to 7 days, it's going to get people, it's going to cost you customers and people aren't going to buy and they're going to be worried about it. This goes back to what I said in the very beginning, people getting paralyzed by things that don't matter. And people, thinking because they wouldn't do something that must mean so many other people in the world won't do it as well. When statistics show that drop shippers that are drop shipping with times for 10 days to 20 days, even 30 days, are making a lot of money. Hell, I spent like $15,000 buying furniture 2 months ago from companies like Wayfair, and I still don't have it, right? But I still bought it, and I knew that it said it was going to be 8 weeks shipping, but I wanted it, right? And so the only thing that matters is that there are people that will buy. Why would you focus on the people that aren't going to buy? They're irrelevant. They don't matter. The only thing that matters is the people that hit your store. So don't get paralyzed fearing that this might not work, and that might not work, and this might not sell, and this might cost you a customer, because there are plenty of people that are going to hit your store and they're going to purchase. So don't get caught up in all that nonsense. Focus on get traffic, get sales, and let the data speak for itself.
Yeah, I think another really important thing to touch on with that also is just communication. You got to communicate with your customers. Customer service is the most important aspect of any business. So as long as you're proactively communicating with customers that are buying, like Anthony just said, he knows it's going to take 8 weeks. Excuse me, Adrian. He knows it's going to take,
happens a lot.
He knows it's going to take 8 weeks to get there, but you already know that, right? If you were expecting it to come in 5 days, you'd be an upset customer. But the fact that you know that up front, it's all good.
Yep.
Yeah, you just got to be upfront, and that goes back to being transparent in your ad copy and keeping your quality score up and your CPMs down because you have lower complaints. Is on your page, just tell people, yo, you want this at this price? Then, here's our actual shipping time. And they'll either buy or they won't.
Yeah, and if you guys are using Zendrop at this point, you can be confident that you're going to be getting the best shipping times, especially if we're shipping directly from China. We haven't announced this officially yet, but we actually opened our own fulfillment center in China now. So we have our own warehouse, our own employees, our own sourcing team, purchasing team, logistics. And although there were lots of shipping issues during COVID, across the board shipping from China, a lot of the shipments that are going direct to consumer are flying on commercial airlines. And because of COVID, a lot of those airlines weren't flying. And so many packages were trying to go out because e-commerce sales went up that products got stuck at warehouses, stuck at customs. It was a nightmare. But it's good now that things are back to where they were. Our regular shipping times are between 10 and 15 days. Express shipping times are about 7 to 12 days. Sometimes even better depending on what country you're going to. And if you ever have any questions, or if you're selling a lot of volume and you need to work with us to custom tailor your shipping needs, we have access to hundreds of shipping lines. So feel free to reach out, and just know that you can be confident with us supporting you as your back end and fulfilling your products.
Yeah, a nice little pro tip is that regular shipping to Australia right now and New Zealand are super fast. So if you guys want to target those countries, your customers are going to have a phenomenal experience. US shipping times are really solid also, you know, averaging somewhere between 8 and 12 days right now. So as long as you're proactive and communicating with your customers, it should be all good.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I guess one more question about Zendrop I just saw come in. How does private labeling work with Zendrop? Do you tell the supplier to make the shipping box and put the logo on the product? If you guys are interested in private labeling, you know, custom packaging, anything like that, we're happy to work with you. You can reach out to our support team. We can get everything set up for you properly. There are MOQs on the packages for the most part, but there's no MOQs on the products unless you're actually printing directly on them. But we're here to work directly with you and custom tailor everything to your needs. All right, so there's tons of other questions here, but for the sake of everyone's time and Adrian's time, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Again, huge thank you, Adrian. Thank you so much for getting on and bringing all this value to our community. What an awesome time this was. Thank you so much for giving everyone this course and just being an awesome person. Thanks so much, Adrian.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. It means a lot that y'all asked me to come on and share my training with the community. I know there's a lot of people out there teaching e-commerce and drop shipping, and I'm happy to come here and share and serve value. I hope that everybody here tonight got a lot of value from it. I back Zendrop myself. I use Zendrop. I tell my entire community to use Zendrop, and I really do feel like this platform is putting people light years ahead of where most beginners are right now. You don't know what it is you don't know. So not only do y'all have like the sickest platform with features that don't exist anywhere else, but you're also educating all of your users as well on free webinars like this, and getting people like me to come on and even teach as well, because I really believe in the platform that y'all you've built. And I think it's going to change the way drop shippers do e-commerce for the better in the future, for the better of the consumer and for the better of the business and the drop shipper themselves. So thanks for having me on. I look forward to seeing you guys again in person sometime soon when there's no pandemic, because I'm in full quarantine right now. So thanks for having me come on. It was fun.
That's it, man. Thank you so much. I guess that's a wrap. Guys, thank you for joining. And look out if you want to watch this again, listen to this. You can check it out on our podcast. You'll get an email with a replay link on our YouTube channel. And looking forward to interacting with you guys again. And I hope you enjoyed the free call tonight. All right, guys. Take care.